Hello YouTube, happy Saturday. It's good to be back. Oh boy, I tell you, this has been last couple of months have been on major deadlines of all types, and I'm telling you, that studio move that came up unexpectedly, but you guys sort of all were witness to some of that noise, so that was not, it wasn't fixable, even though our board, the Art Center, tried their best to fix it. You just had people who were entitled and have a lot of money and felt like basically told the board that you know, they'll just buy the whole place. Can you imagine it? Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so I had to move. So that's what happened last week. I just had to get out by the end of the month. I still kept a small studio space, but my whole recording setup and everything was there. So now I'm doing it in the spare bedroom at my home, and actually it's quite nice. You know, sometimes you think you need more than what you do. So it's actually perfect. I like the sound, I don't have the extra noise. I control the lighting a lot better because I don't have the blue ceiling light. I can just use my ring lights. Anyway, we're back. And excitedly, we are going to work on our journal today because we only have a few more pages. So I kind of was assessing where we are. So let's just take a look at where we are and what we're going to do to get through to the end of the year. We only have a couple of more segments in the book. And then I have some ideas for next year's project. And so many of you have been first of all, hi, I'm Robin McClendon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh my goodness, if you are new to my channel, you're just stumbling upon me, hang out for a few more minutes. You know, I'm kind of started off the video a little talking everything that's been going on, and for all the regulars, you guys know what I'm talking about, so I'm just having this ongoing conversation. So I apologize for all the new folks. I'm a mixed media artist. I do gel printing. I'm a printmaker. I book arts. Of course, we do a lot of collage over here, and I'm also abstract painter, and I do brush painting. So anyway, that's who I am. We have a lot of fun over here, so hang around a bit and you know, see if you want to join up, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff if you decide you like it, and of course thumb the video up. So we've been going through my book, Gel Plate Printing for Mixed Media Art. That's what I'm talking about. We've gone through the whole book. I've shown some alternate techniques to the ones that are in the book. So it's a way of flushing out what's in the book and also showing you guys other ways to approach it. Everything couldn't get in the book. In fact, 60 pages was cut out of the book. So there was stuff that was cut out, and my attempt was to sort of show you different things as we were moving through this year together. So it's been a lot of fun. We've also been working on this journal, this art. It's an art journal book because it's our response to every technique that's in the book. So the idea is for all of you who've been on this journey with me, when we're all done, you'll have a book that's a companion to my book, and the book that you also have, and it's designed to be book as art. So my hope is that you'll take and display your book along with my book on the coffee table, you know, our coffee table books. And so when you just want to flip through and see what you've done, you want to flip through my book for inspiration, you have a lot of work in front of you. If, you know, friends and family come over, you can show them what you've been doing. I just think it's a beautiful way for us to celebrate our art, the time that we spend doing things, and we're also sharpening our skills, but at the same time, we're creating a book. And I think that's probably the best of all worlds. We are going to finish the cover, so that's the last thing we're going to do. And I haven't quite figured out what I want to do with this color. I might make it a compilation of a lot of stuff that we still have. I like this this style of binding. So I'm pretty sure what I'm gonna do is work around it to keep these strappings, but we'll see. Alrighty, so let's look at where we are. So we just finished in terms of in the book. I believe we finished Fragments. And if I'm a little sniffy, I really apologize. Been around with grandkids, and they picked up a little cold. Nothing major. You know how kids are. They can pick up stuff, and they're so resilient. And I'm fine. I'm not sick or anything like that. It's just that, try to see which ones this one is. Because I already suffer from sinuses, it doesn't take very much for my sinuses to start saying, I want to act up. So you might hear a little bit of that, but I've tried to control it. And I've got a lot of water, so we should be okay. So we did the Fragments. So this was this Fragments? Which is which, Robin? I think this was photocopy. This was our photocopy transfer with a bit of the Fragments, the way I did that there. I don't know that I've done a full-on Fragments, have I? Because this is like an example of us working with them. Okay, well, I have oil next, but maybe what I need to do is also, what I'll do, I'm gonna do oil plus Fragments. Since a Fragments is like an add-on technique, it's not like a full piece of art. So I'll put that plus Fragments, because the oil pieces are not that big anyway. So I think it's a good opportunity to add this technique of fragment making with the oil. But my oils are not quite dry yet, so I planned on skipping over. I was going to skip over this page and come back and do it later. So if you want to do the same thing, and then we'll move on to, we should have our block printing next, because that's oil. So we'll do fragment and oils together, and then we're going to do block printing today, because that's the last technique that we've done. And then what we have left is gel printing on fabric. I'm going to do it on denim, like the example in the book. It's really fun to do it on denim. So have your denim ready. You know, you may have some old pants that, you know, you don't want to use, or a shirt you want to, you know, you're not wearing anymore. You rip that up. You can go to Goodwill, and for $2, because it doesn't matter, get the $1 day, or get the 50% off. You know how they do that. Get the, you know, whatever pair of jeans, the cheapest pair for 50% off. I always go to the men's section, because the pants are bigger. They're not as much in demand, so they're not priced as high. And then with 50% off, find the color for the day, purple, green, pink, whatever it is, and then you have a bunch of fabric, and rip it all up, and then it's great for printing on. So we're going to do that. So, and make sure you have yourself some gesso too. Just getting ready for that. We'll do that next week. And then we have large scale printing. And then these are just sort of backup techniques, like eco staining on throwaway gel prints. We'll you know, some of the prints that we have that aren't complete, we'll play around with that. And then it's just techniques to inspire you. So we have a couple more sessions and we're done. So then in December, we'll finish this up for sure. We'll do the covers, and then we'll talk about what I'm thinking about for next year, which is going to be another journal, because many of you wanted to kind of go back and do a year-long, you know, kind of journal style. And I love that too, and so we'll do that. And that gives us, so these couple more pages that we have, we'll fill up with what we have left. And yeah, I think that does it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I have some papers here. I pulled out some other papers that I have that are stained and just have, you know, sort of these Asian marks on them, because I feel like with what I did in terms of our block printing pieces, that it has that kind of sort of cave art or wall art, you know, kind of thing to it. And I thought maybe a few of these emblems, I'd cut them out and they could work in them. So I have them there because I think that's a possibility. And then like we talked about, I've kept all of my little scraps because I use those to collage in the print with. So let's see which one we're going to use. These are the ones I made. I like these. I think I'm going to do these as a series, actually, as a diptych. Those three are triptych. I really like the possibility of these being together. And I know this one, it doesn't show up as well, but then what we do with that one is this right here. I'd probably offset it some kind of way. Because you can see it more visually when you're looking at it, and offset it some kind of way and actually use that emblem. And so I would turn this into a triptych. Probably put it on wood or something like that, and then I'd probably come back and do my encaustics on top of it to really give it a really rich surface. But these prints are good to go. So I'm gonna put that aside because that's a piece that I would finish like that. So if you have any pieces that you sort of see like, oh, I could, you know, you want to see them done differently, think in those terms. Oh, I love these. I think I'll just put these straight away on the page. Yeah, I love those in here. And then, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in first, and then I'll see where else I might want to collage, because I may collage this piece, a piece here, and decide which side I want to use as contrast. Probably this side. I like the way that darker piece contrasts. So, but we'll see, because I have lots of different ones here. Ooh, that one's nice too. Okay, let's go ahead and get these glued down. And then I still have this little bit that may work and it may not work. Or maybe it'd be a little bit too representational. I don't know. Maybe it takes it in a direction I don't want to go. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and get these figured out. Put those down there. Alrighty. Let's figure this out. So I want to put, I'm in my center folds. You can see I have my stitches there, so that's good. So this will go over the whole span. It's just about the height. So I can just take a little bit off the top there. Okay, so let's just get to ripping. Hold up, let me just get it figured out. So we have, wait a minute, it's just about, is this the same height? It really is the same height. Just a little bit comes off. So just take a little bit off the top here. Okay. Okay. And then leave that there. I feel like I don't want this crossing too much over the center line, or do I want to? It's always figuring this bit out, and I want all of that on there. So Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off at about right here. So it's just a little bit over the center fold, because I want to not have all that extra overlapping, but let's just double check it. You know, the old adage, measure twice, cut once. Okay. Line this up on the line, and then we'll get these glued on there. These are so nice as finished. I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways these are finished, aside from the extra collaging I would do on them. And you know, I would also, if I were mounting these on board, I probably would also, I know that I would do my, I love working with encaustic waxes and stuff on these pieces, because with the block printing they just look so organic and lovely. But I also know that I would just get that I would probably also, you know, come back and maybe do some, let me see, I might do, you know, some more painting on top of it, scripting. You know, I would build the surface up if I were working on a board with these. But since this is in the book, I wouldn't do all of that. But because this book is also about showing the techniques and being able to enjoy, you know, each of the techniques in the book, I would do less to them than I would do if I were working these back on a board, which is a substrate I would most likely use something very, you know, strong. Okay, so now I want this here. I think this one is going to overlap this one because I still have this form here and there's nothing there. So that would overlap nicely. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip just a bit of that off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up this way and just taking my fingernail, I'm just going to score it against my metal ruler so I'll know where I want it to tear it, so I can get it as straight as possible, and then flipping it over, just lining the ruler up on where I just put the fold. That's a good way of sort of making sure when you're at the end like this and you need to tear, and it's easier to tear the larger piece than that little small piece because, you know, you have more you can handle. And then just put a really tight pressure and tear a little bit at a time, and keep on changing the pressure on the ruler as you go, keeping it really tight, and then that way you can get a pretty clean tear without worrying about it slipping or ripping into another little piece. Just clip a little bit off. Okay. So that way you get a pretty straight tear and a, you know, like a thin tear without messing up your print. Okay, so there we go. Okay, that will go there. And then this is going to go over top like that. Okay, that's good. That works. Okay, so now we have to start gluing everything up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue on this, really glue this up, and then roll the paper down on it. It's going to be easier with this thin paper for me to get a really good inaccurate, you know, laying down of the paper. Go ahead and get glue on here. Okay, and then we'll get followed up with the Prit, like I like to do. Oh, this is almost gone, guys. Ooh. Do I have more? I should have more. Do I have it right here? Or I'm gluing. Okay, so what we're going to do for this first page, which is this one, what I like to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and I get, okay, before I put this down, I decided that I'm going to use some PVA. My glue stick, the Prit is almost done. The Giotto still has plenty, but my challenge is it's a little thick, and I was given a suggestion of what to do, and admittedly, with all that's been going on, I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna have to do that though. I haven't tried it yet, but one of my patrons told me to put some water in this. Just spritz a little bit in there and let it sit for a while, and it'll rehydrate it so it'll be smooth again. So I'm going to try that, but my Prit's almost done. And so because that's a little choppy, I don't want to make the mistake of not having a good adhesion. So I'm going to use a little bit of my PVA white glue, and I'm going to thin it down with water. And then that way I know I'm good. So you can do the same thing too. Because the paper is thin, you just want to make sure you're getting really good coverage. Oh, I need a little bit more than that. And so here we go. We're just going to do this. It doesn't need a lot. I just spritz it with a little bit of water so that it just makes it a little bit more, it thins it out. So it's just a little bit more, it's thinner, it's just easier to put it on. And because the paper is as thin, like I said, you don't want clumpy glue underneath it. So this way you get good coverage. I can lift it up and sort of see any places I've missed. Because this is good strong watercolor paper, I know it can take it too. So let me just, I'm gonna just spray a little bit on here, because that'll reactivate some of that glue. Since I already have a layer down here now, I just want to make sure that all is well. I know this may seem a little unconventional, but it works. And the paper's strong enough to handle it. Okay, that's good. I feel like I've got, okay. Oops, look at that. Okay, so now what we want to do is I like to take and fold my paper once and then fold it again. It's something we do in printmaking when you want to lay Okay, so as soon as I was getting ready to lay this down, my battery needed to be changed. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, we're gonna get it. So what I do is I fold it so that most of my free edge that I'm gonna start gluing down is exposed. Let's just do a little bit more glue. Today, it seems like I'm having glue challenges, but it's like measure twice, cut once. Glue's kind of like that when you're trying to get something down right. Just make sure you have the right amount before you start. Okay, so this way I can line this up right where I want it. And then you can kind of just start more easily extending and getting things where you need it versus having that whole big sheet that you know, that you're trying to put down and it's wiggly and then you got to keep on picking it up. I know that my edges were a little bit dry, but that's okay. I can come back and fix that. Right now I just wanted to get the piece down so that I know that I've got it down. It's nice and straight. And get my bone folder here. And that helps to get any bubbles out. Like I said, the edges we can always come back and main thing is this paper will wrinkle. It'll wrinkle a little bit. I don't mind the wrinkling, but you want to just make sure that any big wrinkles or folds are braided out when you're using a thin paper or... Okay, that's feeling good. Okay, let's get the other side done. This time with less drama because I'm just going to use enough of the PVA. This paper is very absorbent. It's watercolor paper, so it's taken a lot more of the glue than what you may think. So just make sure I have a good amount down there. Let that dry. Okay, so flip it around to put this on just so that I don't drip oil over, glue over what I've just laid down there. Just got to remember to flip it back around. Now this way I'll get a better coverage because I didn't start with the glue stick and then those two surfaces drying at different rates. And plus I can go bit by bit so that I can see, you know. And I'm just going to go over that edge a little bit because I know that this paper is a little bit larger. It's going to be a little bit of an overlap at that inset area. So we'll just okay, this is good coverage. It's a lot easier than what it looked. I certainly had to change ships, but I also like to show that by example because I want you guys to feel like you can do the same. You don't have to. You decide you want to change glue or change paints or change it. You know, like you're not locked in. Okay, so let's see. So this right here, I'm going to stand up. So let's fold this in half. Let's go ahead and get this edge. I'm going to start with the outer corner because that's where I need to make sure that things are lined up, and I'm going to get my overlap there. And then let me just get this to the top, make sure that's fine, and then bring it over. Okay, there we have it. Okay, that's good. Because, sorry if I feel myself sniffing a little bit. I need to stop the video, and I don't like to, sorry, the sniffing stiffen, but try to be conscious of it. I am a little stopped up, so that doesn't help. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry. So I always let it, before I start doing the next thing on it, I'm going to let it dry. And what we can also do is take a piece of waste paper, preferably something that is, which I don't have here, so I'm going to use my plastic. Because it's wet and I have that PVA on it, don't put any paper down because you don't want it to stick and pull your print. So something plastic, wax paper, you know, freezer paper, anything like that. You need something good, and so that you can really flatten this down. But you see how some of the paint is removing? Because this paint is water soluble until it dries. Once it dries again, it's fine. So because I put that glue down like that, you're going to get a little bit of movement. And so if you don't want your print to be smudged or whatever, just if you have a glue stick, it won't do this because a glue stick doesn't have moisture in the same way that this glue did. So just really use something plastic or, you know, waxed, so you can really get some good coverage, but you don't have to worry about, you know, your print moving around. So let's see, I want to make sure that that gutter is good. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry because I don't want the gutter to get, you know, sort of funny crinkly, and then let all this dry. And once it dries back down, it'll be nice and smooth, and then we'll be back to do our final applications of our, you know, our bits that we had, that we used originally to make the shapes. Okay, so I'll probably let this dry for about a half an hour. For you, it'll just be a couple of seconds, but just so you know, it'll be about a half an hour. This will be dry. All right, see you shortly. Okay, so we are back. Things are nearly dry. Feels good. So I'm going to go ahead and put my elements down. So I couldn't help for playing around with my elements. I don't know if you can see them. There's one here, 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 and here. So kind of the rule of odds for me. I like odds, not evens. That's everybody's personal choice. Some people like even numbers. I happen to like odd when I'm adding elements. And I've added them in such a way that I don't want them to distract from the print. I want them to, if anything, sort of add to spaces where I think like there's really nothing going on there. So adding that fills that space up with some subtle color. Here again, I just feel like that's sort of a blank spot there. And I think putting that there really just kind of bridges it and fills in. So that's kind of what I was doing. I was just kind of putting these elements places that I thought added to it and just sort of made it interesting. So let's go ahead and glue them down. So that's kind of what you want to think about when you're adding your elements, you know what your language is. And that comes back down to our visual vocabulary. That's what visual vocabulary is all about. It's about knowing what your language is. And that has to do, and that does include the elements of art as well as, you know, symbols and, you know, other things that you may think of. I really look at, I'm gonna leave a little bit of that white showing there. But for me, it's like knowing, you know, my design language, my art language, what it is that when I'm done with it, it makes my heart sing, you know, like what feels right compositionally. And that is definitely different for everyone. So next year I'm going to also, you know, kind of continue on as we work in sort of a journal style. Probably go back to sort of my traveler's notebook style. Jelly Junkadori, I've called it. although it won't just be about jelly printing. But what I think we're going to do, still working through it, and I'd love your input as to what you'd like to see us do next year. I find that the series, like, you guys like working in journals, you like working through series, so that when we're done, like with this year, we worked through this whole series, and look, you got an entire book for the year. And I think that says a lot, because so often we do projects and we don't finish them. I hear that a lot. You know, that's a big challenge for folks. So, and I think, you know, it seems like you guys really like the idea of being able to work together. So the 365 that we've done before, the Jelly Junkadori, I always get requests to do series like that again. So I'm also inclined to agree that, let me get some on the end here, that those are good projects. And I think what we'll do is, you know, kind of continue to work around the idea of, you know, really helping you discover your visual language, and being able to also apply that to collage. That's another big one I get, is collage. Help me with collage. And I get it why collage can be difficult, trust me. I do get it, because it seems like it's going to be the simplest thing. Oh, you just glue some things down. But if you don't really know your language, and you don't really have a good handle on your style, there are so many different style of collage techniques. I mean, think about it. You have Matisse, you have Picasso, you have Braque, you have, when we think about the you know, the forefathers of collage, you know, Schweitzer, and then you have folks like Nick Bantock, or Darien, or, I mean, think about it. There's so many different collage styles. But when you think collage, most people think one style, and it's generally the style that comes to their mind. That's generally what it is. And that style could be different for all of us. And so, you know, I understand why it can be difficult. So I thought we would integrate that in a journal style again, but really sort of help fleshing out, you know, talking about these things. But anyhow, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But definitely give me a lot of feedback below the video. Please let me know what you'd like to see. For all of those who like to hang out with me for the year, many of you do. There's a large community of you here on YouTube that hang out all year long, and you know, you're getting amazing amount of art done, and I am just happy for that, and I definitely celebrate that for you. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put this under weight, and once again I'm gonna find my wax paper, because I do have it, and then I'm gonna put a sheet between there, and then we're gonna close this and just put it under weight, let it settle, and let it dry. And you know, when we come back, it'll be all done and ready, and I love it. It does look like some wall art, doesn't it? An old cave or something. See, I just love those little elements on there. I think they add just a bit of pop of texture without taking away from the print, and they're there because we had them using them as masks and stuff to create this print. And that's why I like using file folders, because they're sturdy, they're flexible enough, but they're sturdy, they're easy to cut, and they make great masks. So alrighty, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Next week it's going to be printing on jeans, so make sure you have your jeans and some gesso ready, because we'll be doing that technique. And yeah, please thumb the video up if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you stuck all the way through to the end and you like this content. You know, hit the bell. I mean, yeah, hit the bell, hit all, so that you get the notifications. We hang out every Saturday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. And yeah, I think that's everything. Love you guys. Have a great week. Happy creating. And until next week, take care. Bye-bye.